All right, you've heard it here that a lot of folks are concerned, whatever you think of this Russian investigation into possible Trump ties, whatever you think, whether it's true or false, now with the special counsel, like the former FBI director Mueller weighing in, and he's a real exactor and detail-oriented guy, takes his time, meticulous, all of that, that could take some time. And it leaves very little time for things like, well, health care rework, refix, and tax cuts. To House Ways and Means Committee member, Congressman Mike Kelly. Congressman, what do you think of that? That's a fear, a little less so, I guess, today than yesterday, but what do you think?
Well, I think what we have to concentrate is getting the economy back on track, Neil. So all these other things are going to take place, and there's distractions out there. I get that. But if you can't walk and chew gum, you shouldn't be here. We concentrate on health care. Now we move to tax reform and pro-growth tax reform, things that allow people to look at our economy and say, you know, it's going to be robust and dynamic, and we're going to get people back to work, and they're going to have higher wages, and more importantly than anything else, we're going to be able to compete globally, because that's where the market is now. We have to do that globally, and when you have the highest tax rates and more regulations than you can possibly shake a stick at, you better take a look at what's holding you back.
Are you troubled by this fixation on all this FBI stuff, the Comey stuff and all that?
No, I think it's the relentless pursuit of the president by the left, and we're going to continue to see this. Here's the only thing that bothers me. If we actually take our eye off the ball and think that's the most important thing that we have to face today, it's not. It's an economy that's never recovered. It's working families that have never, ever reached where they should reach. They've had declining incomes for so many years. So let's concentrate on taking care of the people that sent us here to fix it. That's why they elected Donald Trump. They didn't elect him because of some possible FBI investigation. They elected because they thought he was the answer to make the economy get better and do it quickly. And that's what we're going to concentrate on.
Were you surprised when the president, after not tweeting for a little while, this morning said the single greatest witch hunt of a politician in American history, that he might have maybe deliberately, inadvertently extended this sort of distraction?
No, I don't think so. But I think this is a president who's a private sector guy. I know back home where I'm at, if somebody punches you, you hit him twice as hard. And I think for him, it's a distraction from what his mission is, and he knows what his mission is. But it's hard to sit back and take all that and say, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to brush it off. Here's what I think. We concentrate on improving our economy. Again, a dynamic and robust economy is going to get us our focus back on what's the most important thing to the American people, because it funds everything, Neil. Every single program rebuilds our defense and rebuilds our ability to go ahead and keep our commitments to our friends and our allies around the world. That's the most important thing we can do.
You know, yesterday, sir, I know Gary Cohn, the National Economic Council chair, and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin were up on Capitol Hill meeting, discussing, maybe you were part of these groups,
yes,
the tax cut strategy. A number of Democrats there as well. Do you envision that Democrats are going to be part of this attempt to overhaul the tax code?
Listen, if we're concentrating on policy and not politics, yes. If we're going to use this as a way to bash each other, no. My commitment is to, listen, quite frankly, to the people of Pennsylvania's 3rd Congressional District. There's 705,687 of them. If I can't work for them, if I can't do things the right way for them, then they shouldn't send me back here. And I would just caution all my colleagues, let's do what we were sent to do, and that's get this economy back on track, and let's see people's wages rise again. That's what fixes everything. We have to concentrate on that, and we can't be distracted by some kind of a political message that somehow continues to divide us. That's the worst thing we can do as elected representatives of our people.
There does seem to be a little bit of a difference between your House colleagues, Congressman, and in the Senate, where Mitch McConnell has made it clear that he wants whatever you guys come up with to be revenue neutral, the tax cuts to be revenue neutral. Some interpreted that as a change of position. He's always had that, his staff tells me. But it worries some that the prime to pump thing that the president talks about with the economists isn't there, that the tax cuts by definition can't be that big because they wouldn't be revenue neutral. What do you say?
Well, you know, you and I have talked about this before. If we don't have a turnaround plan, we have to have a plan that shows going forward it's okay to be in a deficit position for a while, but not forever. Now, this year, we're going to have the greatest revenues we've ever had, and we're not going to be able to smell the fact that we can pay for what we're spending. There's something wrong with that. And I look at what's already happened. When President Bush left office, we were about $10 trillion in debt. When President Obama left office, we're $20 trillion in debt. And my question is, what was all that money spent for? Had it been spent on infrastructure? Had it been spent on getting us back on the world stage and competing globally? Had they done tax reform back in 2009, 2010, and really wanted to boost the economy? They could have done it if they concentrated on health care, and then they stopped there. this is my commitment. My commitment is to every single person in Pennsylvania's 3rd District and the people around our country that it is up to this Congress right now to work with people on both sides of the aisle to fix a broken tax code for all of them, not just corporate people, by the way, but individuals. And that is our mission, and we have to stay focused on that. If we allow any distractions to come in the way, shame on us. If you know where you're going, or better yet, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. We know where we're going. We know the route to get there. It's tax reform, it's regulation reform, and it's getting us, our people, back to work again and being able to let their incomes rise. Neil, it's terrible what we've allowed to have happen to our middle income people and lower income people. It has been so stagnant for so long. It's just not fair to them.
All right, Congressman, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.